Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I'm George. We're all George. So today, let's talk about why did Bitcoin dip? Some of you guys are concerned. Is it concerning? Well, let's talk about it, but let me also talk about the shocking data that's from Blackrock. And I believe that's the reason why we're seeing all this madness. We're seeing all this volatility. We may see more dips. It's all related. So let me tie it together for you guys. Let's do it. Welcome. Hopefully you guys are doing good this Saturday. Bitcoin is, of course, did dip a little bit. So we're at 50,900 and it looks like it's a shocking dip for some. For others, pretty much just you pretty much I don't know, laugh this off because it's not really a dip. And let me show you something really interesting in case you guys are zoomed in and you're like, oh my god, that just looks horrible. Let's go to the daily chart, and then, you know, if you're looking at it like this, you realize, well, yeah, we've been going up and up and up and up and up and up, and you know, this really doesn't even register. Especially if you're looking at it from the bottom, right? Like, it doesn't really register, especially compared to some of the bigger drops that we have seen, the 15, 20, 25% drops, right? Even recently, this one right here. There's a lot of, there has been a lot of major drops. There will be more coming up. So today, really calm. And here's something else too, in case you guys forgot this. But recently, just recently, 4 days ago, we had something similar. So I was looking at it. I'm like, okay, you know, recently we had Bitcoin go down about 3.7%. And people were freaking out then too. It was in the morning. It was just this past week. People were freaking out like, oh my god, Bitcoin fell, and people were getting all depressed. So I'm like, okay. So I look at it from our top to where we are now. Exactly, 3.6%. So just know that today is not a catastrophic drop. It's not a day to be panicking, okay? In fact, we just saw this earlier in this week, and what happened afterwards? We shot up and made a new leg up. And a lot of times this happens. You know why? Because there's shakeouts. That's what the market makers and Wall Street and everyone else that has a lot of money that wants to accumulate, sometimes they play games. And sometimes they do shakeouts to scare retail investors away. I've been saying how hard it's going to be for retail investors to accumulate any Bitcoin in the future. It's starting to happen already. But these games, you know, they're going to continue to happen. And they're going to escalate. They are. And I'll show you because, man, in previous cycles, we have seen many dips. That's way worse than this. And every time that happens, it scares a lot of people out. And then, you know what? Those big market makers and whales and institutions, they will buy. Look at, I bookmarked this. I'm going to keep on showing this during this cycle because it's important to realize that, yeah, we're going to see a lot of dips coming up. Those dips are not going to stop. And they happen more often in parabolic bull runs. So that means after our halving event, and we start really skyrocketing towards all-time highs, 60,000, 70,000, 100,000, we will see 20% dips. We could see 60,000 drop back down to 40,000. We could see 100,000 drop down to 70,000, right? We will see those days. So today is not one of those days, okay? We dropped 3-point-something%. And the last time this happened, during this past week, guess what happened afterwards? We shot up to a new leg up and we went higher. So that could be coming this week, right? Even this weekend, even after this, we could be right back up to 52,000 by the end of today. It's still so early. So just want to address that first of all, that this is perfectly normal, not time to be panicking. But another reason why you should not be panicking is based on the ETFs. It's shocking, it's alarming, however you want to describe it. Okay, just for this last week, 2.3 billion plus 2.3 billion. This is on top of GDBC increasing their selling. Okay, even with the increased selling from Grayscale, all the other ETFs took in $2.3 billion of the Bitcoin. That's just 1 week alone. Okay, it is the hottest thing on Wall Street right now. Compared to all the other ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs leading the space. And in case you want to know finalized numbers, well, here they are. Let me click into it. Let me click into this. I think I have this. Well, here it is. And I've been showing this. And I said that this is not going to stop. It's only going to escalate. So you could see for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight days, it's been nothing but massive buying. Okay, even on Friday, we had $400 million. I mean, this is not going to stop. The supply shock is real. It's not going to stop. That's another reason why you should not be fearful of any small dip that we may be seeing, or even today's, because if you get scared out of the market and you sell, most likely you're going to end up buying back at a higher price, and you would basically you would end up having less than what you had. That's basically what's going to happen, right? These dips will come, but we'll pass them and form new highs right afterwards, especially knowing that these institutions continue to buy hundreds of millions per day, okay? They're not going to stop. This is per day, guys, not per week, per days. We're talking about billions per week now, okay? And in case you want to know, you look at the right-hand side, you see MicroStrategy. You know, as much as we've been cheering on Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, the ETFs have far surpassed what MicroStrategy is holding. Take a look. That number is actually kind of low. It's actually 275,000 Bitcoins overall. So MicroStrategy has already been surpassed. Blackrock themselves is getting very close to MicroStrategy. Again, this is within a month, with a month of trading only. Let's imagine 12 months of trading. And let's imagine what happens after the halving event when Bitcoin is much higher. The volume is going to increase, right? So this is what I consider shocking data. Most people that are not paying attention, I guess if they're not paying attention, they're just not going to realize how much buying there is and how important it is to accumulate as much as you can right now before Bitcoin becomes too expensive. I mean, we're getting down to that point already. We're getting to the point where it is already too expensive, but in the future, it's just going to be such a big deterrent for any retail investor to come in, because most people coming in do not want to buy fractional Bitcoin. They want to buy whole Bitcoins, and they won't be able to, right? And that's going to suck. But anyways, yeah. So this continues on. So again, are we going to see more dips? Are we going to see more volatility in the future? Hell yeah, we will. And they will only increase. But the good thing is, so will the price of Bitcoin. And we will get past those dips in short order and then continue forward. It's like that every cycle. This cycle, we're probably going to see more of it. In fact, I don't know, like, we're going to see more of it for sure, but the percentage drops will probably be less than before because of all the buying. So, and as for OTC market, it seems like the OTC market is kind of dying. That's why sometimes we see this like random big jump with Bitcoin. It seems like it's because the OTC market from whatever exchange dried up and they had to go spot. So this is looking at OTC desk. This doesn't measure every single one, but it does show that, yeah, it's starting to diminish. And I've said this time and time again. When Blackrock, Fidelity, and ARK, and Bitwise, when they are buying by the billions, eventually, whoever they go to will say, we don't have enough. We can't sell you anymore. So then what happens? Where do they go get their Bitcoin? Right? They might go straight to the miners, but what if the miners are not selling? Then they have no choice to buy it in the spot markets. And then that's when you see these big jump ups. That's why I think we see them. Like we saw a couple this last week or last 2 weeks where all of a sudden overnight we see this big massive jump of $1,000 for Bitcoin. That's massive amount of buying from somewhere, right? So we're starting to see that happen. And if the OTC market completely dries up, man, that's going to cause price to go really crazy. And that's when we really will we'll wake up and see Bitcoin go up like 20% in a day. Those days are coming. All right, what else is there? Coinbase is looking very strong right now. They say they manage, or they're the custodian for 90% of the ETFs out there. And plus, they have a ton of Bitcoin. Coinbase is doing very well. Their stock earnings was really good for Q4, and their stock went up through the roof. So they're doing really good. And the Coinbase premium is also starting to go up. So for those of you guys that are buying on Coinbase, you may realize that you're paying above market price, because in every single cycle, you see this Coinbase premium. And that's because most retail investors, they're buying on Coinbase. And Coinbase adjusts with the institutional buying and now retail buying. You know, sometimes they adjust their price a little bit higher, you know, because of demand, and that may increase. We have seen sometimes, I have seen sometimes where Coinbase premium is ridiculous. We're talking about 5 to 10% on certain days. So you're really losing out on 10% if you buy crypto or Bitcoin on Coinbase. Those days will come too, but that just shows you how strong, how big of a position Coinbase has in this space. But you know what? Brian Armstrong, he's giving back. You know, a lot of these ETF funds, they said they're going to donate 5 to 10% of their profits to the Bitcoin developers. Coinbase is doing the same thing. They donated $3.6 million to the Bitcoin developers. So that's fantastic. So now we got like this treasury that's building up for these developers to make Bitcoin even better. So really, really good. Really good indeed. What else is there? Well, it's no surprise, the extreme whales have added $13 billion to the Bitcoin in 2024. Now, the smaller whales actually sold. So what does this show? Even if you're a whale holding between 100 to 1,000 Bitcoin, right? Sometimes you get eaten up by a bigger whale. The whales that hold between 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin. You could see that's actually quite alarming. I think a lot of the smaller whales, they may have sold for alts or something like that. But again, it's pretty shocking to see that we have these ultra whales that are adding so much too, right? So it, again, contributing to the supply shock factor. You know, you got the ultra big whales buying, and then the institutions buying through the ETFs, right? I mean, that's just a whole lot of buying. And right now, if you look at retail is coming in weak. This is the only cycle where retail is actually not leading the charge. Every single cycle before was driven by retail, right? This cycle, not so much. So again, a little bit alarming because of that. I think mostly because Bitcoin is now so high. And also, alts have not been pumping to the moon yet, right? They will. They will later this year. We're going to see alts pump to the moon, and especially in 2025, we'll see that. So retail will come in, but it's a little bit alarming that not so many retail players are buying Bitcoin, right? And eventually, all these big boys are going to get all of it, and it's going to suck. So grab as much as you can right now. 74,000 Bitcoin, reasonable target for near future. Sure, anything's possible. Anything's possible. First things first, let's get to 60,000, which I think is around the corner. I honestly think after this little dip, we'll be back up to 52 again. 52.5 is our recent high. We could break through that and get to 54, 55,000 in no time. Then we're going to be at 60,000. No problem. After 60,000 is when things get really crazy. The last time in 2021, when we broke 60,000, we were there for a very short amount of time. Very short amount of time above $60,000. This time around, we're slow and steady moving upwards. If we can hold above 60,000, we'll break through 70,000 in no time too. So 74,000 would be fantastic. Hopefully it doesn't come too soon. I'm still hoping 70,000 maybe around July timeframe after several rate cuts. But you know what? The way we're moving, the way ETFs are buying, and the whales are buying, we could be at 70,000 in no time. And that would not be a bad thing. Well, it would be a bad thing for future retail investors. It would be a great thing for us. So, but yeah, that's coming up. That's coming up. And last thing about Bitcoin, I'll show you guys. In case people are wondering if the halving event has been priced in yet, and ETFs, if they have been priced in yet, and everything else, the answer is no. Even though this is a little bit deceiving, we should be a little bit higher than what that's showing, but still, you get the point. Have everything been priced in yet? The answer is no. No, there's a lot more to come. All right, what else is there? Well, today I did see this. Filecoin and Solana team up to strengthen infrastructure. That's pretty cool. What are they strengthening? Well, according to Filecoin, the block history, okay, will be stored on Filecoin, and it'll be usable for providers, explorers, indexers, and anyone needing historical access. So basically, it sounds like just historical access, right? I know Solana back in the day was using Arweave for their storage backbone, and then they developed their own. So it does seem like, you know, like NFTs and anything else that's current that needs to be stored is not using Filecoin, but Filecoin itself will be just used for the history of the blocks. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit more than that. But regardless, it's good for Solana. Anything to make it more efficient is good. And it's good for Filecoin because it's one of the major L1s that will be utilizing them for storage. That's good. And also, Filecoin has been making moves. They actually have a partnership with Lockheed Martin. I didn't know that. That's pretty outstanding. And according to Filecoin, 99% of the total data stored across all platforms is stored on Filecoin. I also didn't know that. That's pretty staggering. 99% of all decentralized storage data is on Filecoin. That's awesome. All right. That's pretty much it. Dre is saying corgis on Filecoin equals FOMO. I'm not so sure about that. Let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see here. Let me scroll up. Natasha says, no one is shaking us out. I hope that's true. And congrats to you and anyone else that understands that. But unfortunately, every time you have a little dip, I can see in the chat, someone's like, why are we dipping? You know, why are we selling off? Oh my God, the world's ending. And that's what I'm here to do. Calm people down. Make people realize that this is normal. And don't freak out. Yes to crypto. Grayscale isn't selling, their customers are. That's right. But Grayscale is also selling now because DCG, is it DCG? What's that other company that owned? Yeah, I think it's DCG. They're selling like 1.4 billion worth of Grayscale shares. They were the parent company or whatever. But yeah. I don't know. I think Grayscale knew that, and that's the reason why they knew all their customers were going to sell. That's why they put their fees at 1.5%. Everyone else is at 0.2%. Grayscale put it at 1.5% on purpose, but that also prevents anyone from coming in. If you're an investor and you want to invest in Blackrock, let's say, or Fidelity or ARK or Bitwise, you would choose them over Grayscale because of the fees. So it's like they purposely don't want new customers right now. Even though they led the way and they made this possible. Joanne Wolf, do you know how to trade or swap native Bitcoin on-chain from wallet for low fee? It doesn't really exist right now. All the wallets and all the dexes don't support native swaps. You could try to use someone like Rubik's. Maybe Rubik's will do it. Any thoughts on Horizon Coin? I think they're a privacy coin, so I don't like privacy coins. They were renamed from something. Zero knowledge enabled network of blockchains. Or maybe it's not them. Maybe it's someone else. EVM sidechain smart contract platform. So they're layer 2. I thought for sure it was them, but maybe not. They're working with Input Output, which is the company behind Cardano. Looks okay. I don't have any opinions on them. Looks okay. They're on Coinbase, on big exchanges, Binance, Bybit, so that's good for them. And their token economics ain't too bad. About 70% release. They look okay, but they just pump only today. And they're really down. Are you asking because they pumped? You know, one thing that really irritates me is people randomly, they don't know anything about a coin, and then they ask me about it. I mean, that's not how you're supposed to invest, okay? You don't just invest and FOMO into something that you have no idea about and that you just want to put money in because it went up 30%. No. I mean, if you're asking because you're already in it, you know, that's a different story, but it just seems like people just randomly search through CMC, see what's pumping, and then ask me what I think about it, so they want to FOMO in more. White Knight Production or Prod. I'm convinced CB is the best bank available today. 5% APY, held USDC, instant transfer without questions and regulations to global audience. Thoughts? Sure. I mean, they have a relationship. Your CB meaning Coinbase, right? They have a relationship with Circle. They are part owners. So they do have this relationship. So they're able to offer that where you could stake USDC for, you know, for 5%. But, you know, there's a lot of like, it's basically, yeah, if you have a lot of stable coins, then great. It's trustworthy, because it's Coinbase and Circle. You know, they're not going to like just rug pull you. But I mean, traditional banking, you have a lot of like money markets and CDs that are offering close to 5% too. So it's around there. But yeah, a crypto version of it. Sure. Still bull on snack. Sure. I still hold my snack. And there's a $2 super chat from a name I cannot pronounce. Huey Hikes. FOMO'd in near the top a couple years ago. Bought all the dips afterward. Portfolios in green. Congratulations. Disciplined diamond hands are a way to go in crypto. That is 100% true. I mean, even my DCA portfolio that I've been doing with you guys for over 2 years is way in the green now. So, I mean, when it comes to crypto, I mean, outside the fact that you invest in something like horrible that rug pulled or went under, all the other projects, they're going to come back. They go down in crypto winter, but they're still forming, just like Bitcoin, higher lows and then higher highs. It's not guaranteed higher highs other than Bitcoin. But the way to go is just HODL and DCA. That's really the only thing I preach. HODL and DCA. And I did a DCA portfolio just to prove a point that DCA works. And I never, if you guys watch my Wednesday videos, I never look at the TA or look at anything. I just pick the ones that I think are winners and I just put more money into them. And it works, right? I'm not even looking at TA to try to establish, oh, what is the optimal buy today or whatever. Is it true you get a big bonus on Bybit and Bitflex? How? A lot of these exchanges just offer you like a bonus, a deposit bonus or trading bonus based on how much you put in or how much you trade, something like that. How about AVAX? I'm a big fan of AVAX. Yeah, they're still holding strong in the top 10. Big fan. They're in gaming and that's going to be a very hot niche in 2024. DZO, Sin City, I see you guys. Hola. DZO, I think Grayscale, what? I think Grayscale dumps to control price over Blackrock to buy. They must be working together. Why else would they sell? I mean, it's like people that are selling, institutions that are selling, insiders that are selling, and DCG is also selling because they got in trouble and they owe money. But yeah, ultimately, doesn't matter who's selling, okay? What matters is you don't want BlackRock to buy everything. That's ultimately what we care about. Okay, this is the latest numbers. It shows BlackRock up to 120,000 Bitcoin. That's a lot. That's only 70,000 away from MicroStrategy. That's just themselves. Fidelity 86,000. That's a lot. ARK and Bitwise, they've been adding a ton. 29,000, 22,000 they're holding. That's not insignificant either. And everyone else, I mean, overall, they're adding a ton every single day. So you could see Grayscale, even Grayscale selling, or whoever selling their Grayscale shares. I mean, still you see that the others are just soaking it up and buying it. So that's the thing. Woody, MMD is up 300% last 70 days. That's great. Mind. It's a very, very, very small cap. Bridge between your thoughts and executable algorithms. Agnostic graph-based meta programming language designed for both AI and humans. Someone asked me about this before. It's a whole, I mean, their marketing really needs to change. All right, so it's something like ChatGPT, basically. You can create things using natural language or drag and drop editor. It's probably not done. It's powered by BitSensor OpenAI, so it's an extension of what OpenAI and BitSensor has. It says try. How do I run it? How do I type it? Develop a hot meme coin on Solana for me. Didn't do anything. Maybe because I need to have some mine in my wallet for it to work, but okay. Well, it's not, I can't say anything about it. I mean, if it turns out to be great, I don't know who's pumping it. At 12 million, it could be pumped by just whales. I don't know who's pumping it, but if they could do well, then good for them. AI space is getting very hot, for sure. AI space, everyone's trying to figure it out, and I'm still waiting for some really useful AI tools to come out in crypto. Nile West. I said the same thing. Okay. Yeah, I'm still, whatever you said, which is nice. It turned out bad. It's a backhanded compliment, but still, I'm not going to be looking into Solana because I don't like the name. I appreciate the super chat, though. Any chance for Flux to shine this cycle? Yes. I'll just say yes. I think you brushed a gem the other day with Nexa. They are big games, including Fortnite. Can you take a look? No. You know why? Because there's no Fortnite players that would actually use it to make any earnings. That's the thing. Gamers don't want, like, especially like Fortnite players, they're not going to be using like a platform that's going to reward them to play on there. They're just not going to be bothered by it. And they don't want to have a wallet or anything like that. So to me, that's just not the right way, not the right approach. Commune AI. What? Doesn't show up. Yeah, it doesn't show up. Maybe it's new. Get rid of that. Radworks. Not a fan of that name either. It's on the big exchanges, so that's good. We fund new technologies to cultivate internet freedom. What does that mean? Are they a DAO? Radical, drips. Are they a VC or a DAO? Like, I don't get it. Yeah, there's some kind of like, they should be a DAO, but they don't call themselves a DAO. Not for me. You think bears have more strength to dip us this weekend so the market won't reopen? It could happen. Maybe it happens tomorrow, but maybe today is the dip and tomorrow we're right back up to 52 and we start forming a new high this weekend or this coming week. I don't know. I don't try to play that guessing game. Wukadian. DCA'd $50 a week since August 2021. Now my 7-year-old daughter has 1/4 Bitcoin. That's crazy if you think about it. A 7-year-old that already has 1/4 of a Bitcoin. That's why I've been saying about like people that have young kids. If you get them in early, I mean, there's so much time for them. They will definitely be a millionaire or a multimillionaire by the time they hit 18. If they're young, right? And you get them hooked really early. Crypto Trucker Mike, 3 hours in the gym. That's a long time to be in the gym, my man. But good for you, getting in shape. I don't remember last time I was in the gym for 3 hours. Arc Block. Let's do 1 year. Yeah, they did nothing until they got listed on Coinbase. Redefine software architect ecosystem, a total solution for building these centralized applications. They have NFT Studio, so they're like a suite of things. Yeah. Okay. It's just not something I would ever invest in. It's way too boring for me. And I still don't think like developers use like stuff like that. Like there's a lot of like drag and drop or like, you know, blocks of code or whatever, code-based projects like that. True projects with real developers don't need to use that. So that's like catering to like amateur, amateur programmers. Like that to me doesn't make it a lot of sense because all the great ones are developed from ground up by developers because they know what they're doing. Wouldn't need to use the code base or whatever from these other projects. So yeah, something like ArcBlock doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Shady says gamers just want something that's fun, period. Exactly right. That's why the new Web3 games are different. They concentrate on really fun games and then they slowly layer in the Web3 elements. They're not trying to push it right away, and that's the smart thing to do. Rector proves Ripple manipulating XRP price. Well, I don't know who Z Rector is, but I don't think that's hard to prove. But people don't want to hear about that. Would anyone drink crypto cert? I'm not going to repeat that. Mavia. I know that's a game. They're doing pretty well. 276 million. I just covered them. What chain are they on? Then no, they're on Mutable. Yeah, I remember. I just covered them. They're on Mutable X. Or they're not on Immutable X, but their NFTs are. I'm pretty sure of that. They look pretty cool. I mean, they're mobile too. They're mobile. I think their graphics looks pretty good. You know, like a nice cartoonish graphics. And they could be good. They're on KuCoin already. KuCoin, MXC, Bybit, but not on Coinbase or Binance. It's a 1-1 copy of Clash of Clans. Is it really? Aviator says, you're right most often, but you're wrong about ArcBlock. Well, we'll see if I'm wrong. In the next year or so, I like for you to point out any big project that actually utilizes ArcBlock, because I think you'll find that no one uses ArcBlock. The thing is, it's like, again, you look at any major game, major decks, major whatever, major L1, L2, it's all built from the ground up. Other than DEXs, I take DEXs back because a lot of people just copy Uniswap's code because they're open source. But still, in order to do everything else that they need, like to add, I don't know, different elements to the DEX or whatever dApp or wallet or whatever that there is, it's always developed from ground up from developers that know what they're doing. They're not going to be using some set thing from ArcBlock. I don't know. I may be wrong, but in a year, you come back here and you tell me, oh, look at this project so-and-so, they use ArcBlock's code. Prove me wrong, but I don't think you'll be able to find one. What happened to Sol keeps falling? Is it? It fell 0.5% in the last 70 days. Last 30 days is up 10%. Up 60 days is up 48%. So is it really falling? Townsley, will crypto dump if Joe Biden wins in 2024? No, I don't think it has anything to do with it. Are you going to do anything else to their studio, or are you going to get your market bell? I don't think either one is necessary, so I have not been thinking about it. If I get really, really bored and I want to like redo this place, maybe, but there's been no need to do so. Pedro says it. I wouldn't use others' computer code. There will always be bugs. Yeah, I'm not a programmer. I did go to college for 2 years for programming, and then I said it was not for me, but still. Jolly Coin aims to create a platform to tokenize charities and bring joy to the jolliest time of the year. It's on Solana, candy cane with white background. Giovanni, I don't know how I feel about that. Tokenizing charities. We already know most charities are a scam. Even though they say nonprofit, all the money goes into the directors and people that are running the charities. So I'm not sure tokenizing charities is the right way to go about it. Yeah, Shady, thank you for that. Are you interested in dunk contest or 3-point contest? I guess this year is a little bit different because Steph is shooting out against that one girl that's basically seen as the female version of Steph. I guess that's interesting. And a dunk contest, Matt McClung will probably win again. No one can out dunk him. So I'll still watch. I don't know. I'd like to see more stars. I know Jaylen Brown's in a dunk contest, but I like to see more stars in a dunk contest. I like to see like a one-on-one contest. They should actually do that. People would pay a lot of money to see that. Like imagine you have a one-on-one contest between LeBron and KD. That'll get more ratings than an all-star game itself, right? You could do the same thing. You could have, I don't know, Luka versus Kyrie one-on-one, you know, or Embiid versus Jokic one-on-one. Like if they had a one-on-one contest in the All-Star weekend, I think that would be the most popular segment, even more so than the All-Star game. Luka versus Booker. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be just like a one game. You know, they could do like a, 2-game, 3-game series or something like that and have a one-on-one tournament, you know. It would be fun. I think it would be fun. See, yeah. I mean, like, I love, sometimes I get so bored when I'm on YouTube. I see this guy do like one-on-one with 2K players, right? It's like things that won't ever happen because you could put like Chamberlain on Shaq and stuff like that. But like, people love to see that. People love to see that. I remember when I was growing up, they were going to do a Shaq versus Hakeem one-on-one, I think on pay-per-view. And everyone was like going crazy for it. And then I think Hakeem got injured or something and it never happened. Man, love to see that. No one covering Kyrie one-on-one. That's probably true. But still, can he outscore Luka? Can he stop Luka? Luka's so much bigger. I don't know. Anyways, Bonk or Dogo? I have no idea what Dogo is, but I like Bonk. PMPY. Prometheum Prodigy? I'm just going to say no to that based on the name. Although I don't know anything about it. All right, guys. Overall, don't be scared of the dip, okay? It's very normal. There will be a lot more. Don't fall for the FUD. And certainly don't get manipulated out by Wall Street or the market makers or the whales. They will continue to buy while retail dumps. Don't be one of those retail investors. So, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys Monday. There's no trading session. But I'll see you guys Monday. I don't know if it's going to be 8:30 or 10:30. But I'll see you guys on Monday. And I'll try to do my Sunday walk video tomorrow as well since I missed last week's. And there's another video coming out on CRU Plus. Another trading session video with Noah. So make sure you watch that as well. That's coming up like now. So go and check that out. All right. Have a good weekend, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.